What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. And let's get into it. We're starting off with one from CTV News, Winnipeg. So, this is crazy. This is just stupid. Like, we are getting to a level of stupid now that is just ridiculous. And it isn't even... it's by stores and companies having all sorts of varying different policies that are frankly just absurd. And I feel sorry for this guy, because he literally did everything right and still got in trouble. So I thought it was a joke. Canada Post employee sent home for wearing an N95 mask instead of the company provided cloth or disposable mask. So yes, this is real. A Winnipeg man who works for Canada Post as a mail carrier said he was sent home for the type of mask he was wearing, despite it being better than the company's masks. Well, I mean, they're offering cloth masks. Does that even work? I know the N95s work. They're apparently very, very good. And then there's also other ones that you could get as well. But, like, what is it that they're offering here? I think that's the one he's got. What's this? This is a company one? What is it? I can't even tell. It just looks like a piece of cloth. It doesn't even look like a proper mask. Okay. So anyways, let's get into the story. So when he showed up at work, he was wearing his N95 mask. Right away, a supervisor came up to him and told him he can't wear that mask. I don't really understand. I thought it was a joke at first, like, why can't I wear this when the ones you were providing are cloth? He said he was going to change his mask and started to sort his mail for the day. During his sorting process, he had multiple supervisors approach him asking him if he needed a mask, and then telling him he couldn't wear the one he had. I still didn't change my mind, so I didn't change my mask. Went about my day, just kind of ignored it, went out, delivered my mail, came back, and there was the same thing. Only this time it was the head superintendent saying I can't. The following day, Gallagher said he turned up wearing the same mask, his N95, and was eventually told to leave after refusing to wear the cloth mask provided by the company. In the email to CTV, the spokesperson for Canada Post said the company follows recommendations from the Public Health Agency of Canada, noting the agency supports people wearing non-medical masks that have at least 2 layers of woven fabric with a third middle layer of filter fabric or a disposable mask. The company fully supports these guidelines, therefore requires all employees to wear a Canada Post supplied face covering, which is either a reusable cloth face covering or a disposable medical mask. The idea if an employee doesn't have a mask that Canada Post provides. Yeah, they're not even answering. This is just blurb. This is just shit blurb. Like, what? The guy has a mask that is better than the mask you are providing, and they shit on him for his choice to wear a safer mask that he wants to wear. Like, I'm not even getting into the whole thing of whether you want to wear one or not. This is someone who is wearing a mask, who clearly wants to wear a mask, who wants to be safe, who is being told that because he's wearing a better mask that is safer and goes above and beyond the guidelines of Public Health Agency of Canada, that he has to go home because he won't wear the shitty one that is being provided by his company that isn't as good. What the actual fuck? This is the fucking world. Jesus Christ. Do you ever get to a point where you just get sick of hearing about this shit? God. Gallagher feels this practice is behind what the government now recommends and that the policy should change. It's kind of disappointing that we are so far behind on the Canadian standards, said Gallagher, adding N95 masks aren't new and people across the country have been wearing them for quite some time. Gallagher, who said he was suspended without pay for the day, this is suspending without pay, said there are reasons why he wears an N95 mask compared to a cloth mask. He said his wife is immunocompromised and he has a child who is not old enough to be vaccinated. This is personal. I like to keep my family safe if I can. Like, holy shit, man. I feel so sorry for this guy because of the, like, the absurdity. These fucking companies. These companies with their mandates. It's so stupid. Like, you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. That's the only way I can literally think about this shit, is no matter what you do, what choice you make, companies try to fuck you over in some way. And that's literally what this is. The guy's going above and beyond, and they send him home without pay because he wants to be safe. Like, oh. Let me know down below what you think of this one, because this is just absolutely stupid. Like, what is this? Canada Post, right? Canada Post. Fucking shit. I would not work for them. Like, what the fuck? Moving on to the next story. NBC News. Capitol rioter ordered back to jail after driving whilst intoxicated, arrest, and discovery of an AR-15 rifle in their car. James Tate Grant was arrested last month when police discovered an AR-15 ammunition in his car in North Carolina. A man accused of rioting at the U.S. Capitol has been ordered to be returned to federal custody after authorities said he tried to flee an arrest on suspicion of drunk driving last month, and police found an AR-15 in his car. The man, James Tate Grant, 29, of North Carolina, was on pre-trial release in connection with allegations that he assaulted two police officers at the Rampage on January 6, 2021. U.S. District Judge Timothy Kelly of Washington, D.C., revoked the release Tuesday, saying Grant had violated the terms of his release and tried to flee an arrest on December 7th, according to court records. In the incident last month, a Garner police officer responded to a restaurant in Wake County, North Carolina, around 5 a.m. and found Grant in his vehicle. According to the motion to revoke his release, he appeared to be intoxicated, and the officer began a driving whilst under the influence investigation, it said. As he was being arrested, Grant tried to flee, the filing said. He then dropped to the ground and stated something to the effect of, "Just kill me now." He then stated, "It's over," according to the filing and the police report. Jesus Christ, what the hell was this guy gonna do? What was this guy gonna do? He's rolling around in a vehicle, like, with an AR-15, wasted off his mind, like, completely hammered, and he's running around just saying, "Just kill me now, it's over." What the hell was the guy planning to do with that rifle? In Grant's car, police recovered an AR-15 assault rifle, 60 rounds of ammunition, weapons, accessories, combat fatigue, court documents said. Grant was charged with driving whilst impaired, according to court documents and the police report. The DWI case is pending in Wake County District Court. The motion to detain Grant also said he provided urine samples that tested positive for amphetamine. Okay, that explains it. He was hopped up on amphetamines. The motion said he was caught driving drunk with an assault rifle and over 6 rounds of ammunition in his vehicle. Initially attempted to flee from law enforcement. There are no conditions or combination of conditions that could ensure the safety of the community and Grant's presence in court if he were to remain released. So yeah, this guy's been arrested, taken back to jail, gonna be in lockup probably until the time of his trial now then. So he violated the terms of his release, which ban possession of firearms, which is a standard term, excessive consumption of alcohol. Like, Jesus, this guy really did break his bail terms. I guess it's bail terms, right? I mean, if you get released without bail, you still have the terms, right? I don't know. That's one thing I don't know. If they don't put a bail condition, you still have to abide by the terms, right? But yeah, okay. Well, this guy is disturbing. So he faces numerous charges stemming from the riot, including assaulting, resisting, or impeding certain officers using a dangerous weapon, or inflicting bodily injury, civil disorder, and an act of physical violence in Capitol grounds or buildings. And he pleaded not guilty Tuesday. So, holy crap, that guy's gonna be having some trouble. Thank God they got him off the street. Thank God they got that weapon away from him. Because I have no idea why he has a weapon in the car at all. But he was wasted off his head on amphetamines and saying really, really, really extreme stuff. So, good on the officers on this one for this arrest, because holy crap, that could have been so bad. That could have went so south. Like, obviously you guys know how bad that could have went, so good thing they got him off streets. Moving on to the final story of the day, and this one comes from Bloomberg. Wealth and equality. So, the UK is 2 months away from a brutal cost of living crisis. Britons battered by the virus are facing a dangerous combination of rampant inflation, rising interest rates, and tax hikes. I'd also like to point out that a lot of this is to do with Brexit as well, and is not solely related just to the pandemic, because that is what the government likes to blame it on, but it isn't that. It is also partly Brexit as well, which has significantly affected the economy too. And all of these things combined together are causing massive issues. And it's also causing products to be more expensive because of rules. Import rules, export rules, everything's getting more expensive and costs are getting put on the consumer. And it's the same with energy prices, getting gas and stuff, problems. Soaring energy prices and rising inflation are causing policy headaches around the world. In the UK, though, the government is raising taxes at the same time, kicking off an economic experiment in one of the countries worst hit by the pandemic. Britain's accused cost of living crunch will hit in April, instantly stretching household and company budgets and penalising the poorest households, many of which have already been impacted by COVID-19. Squeeze coming from all sides, UK consumer price growth hit a 30-year high of 5.4% in December and is wiping out wage gains. Bank of England is jacking up interest rates faster than the Federal Reserve. A cap on domestic energy costs is expected to rise by 50% in April, just as payroll taxes go up in a bid to repair the UK public finances. Brexit hasn't come cheap either. So good on Bloomberg, they actually mentioned Brexit. The Resolution Foundation think tank thinks that the outcome will be a living standards catastrophe, with a typical UK household on income of £27,000 after tax and housing costs paying £600 extra just on energy bills and taxes. More broadly, the Centre for Economic and Business Research forecasts a £1,980 rise in overall annual living costs even before payroll taxes go up. While lawmakers in Westminster debate whether Prime Minister Boris Johnson should resign over whether he broke lockdown rules, the cost of living is fast becoming the country's key political battleground and a real danger for him or for his successor. Calls to mitigate the very worst impacts are already growing. Meanwhile, the looming crunch also serves as a test case for other nations attempting to chart an economic course away from the pandemic. We are watching the UK for many reasons, says Holger Schmeiding, chief economist of Berenberg Bank. The UK has more need to put its fiscal house in order as its initial response was bigger. For many, this new challenge is equally as serious as the furloughs, homeschooling, and health fears they endured during the worst of the pandemic. Laurie Williams, 51, who lives in Blackpool in the northwest of England, used to run a company with her ex-partner before an acrimonious separation left her in financial difficulty. As a self-employed company director, she was ineligible for government support during the pandemic. She's now struggling to make ends meet, even before April comes round. I survived COVID the last 2 years because I was already living this hell since 2017. Me and my daughter have lived literally running by the seat of our pants on a daily basis, she said. It wears you down and it wears you out on a daily basis because all you are thinking about all the time is, oh, I got through another day. And that is the reality. That is how many people feel. And it's very, very sad that she has a child in this situation because it is cross country. There's children, more children in poverty now than there has been for a very, very long time in the UK. And it is a very, very damning situation. And it causes a lot of stress for a lot of parents who some can't even afford to feed their entire family. Parents are skipping eating meals themselves in order to ensure that the children eat. And even sometimes then, the children are skipping meals as well because there simply isn't enough money to pay for food and there isn't enough support for them in order to get food. So, getting through the day will be harder in April. The recent surge in wholesale energy costs means regulated gas and electricity prices will increase sharply. Prices are already rising in Europe, but April's one-off increase will push UK energy price inflation above its continental peers in one move. Karen Blinko, 31, single mother of 2 girls in the town of Oldham, near Manchester, already struggles with the cost of her heating. Her home, she only turns the heating on briefly each morning, so it's warm when her children get out of bed. Oh, that's sad. That's sad. It's freezing all the time. I have to get the girls fluffy pajamas, and we're all in dressing gowns, Blinko said. She highlighted the loss of a weekly £20 welfare boost This is talking about the universal credit cut that the Tory government implemented, which has really significantly hit people on the bottom line. And this is an example of this. Across much of Europe and the US, inflation has risen or is on course to rise 30-year highs, due largely to soaring gas prices. Several countries, such as Italy and Spain, have slashed energy levies or provided broad subsidies to ease the pain, but Britain faces a unique pinch point. While most countries are grappling with the rise in gas prices, the UK is moving more quickly than others to repair its public finances after the pandemic and to raise interest rates in a bid to rein in inflation. April's tax rise will see the UK raise an additional £14 billion from working households this year via national insurance contributions, a form of payroll tax, and by freezing thresholds. Another £12 billion will come from businesses in 2023 when corporate taxes rise. I don't understand how there can only be 12 billion from a corporate tax rise. That's not a very big tax rise at all. That's nothing. Why isn't there a more significant tax rise than that for corporations? Like, if you. That doesn't make sense. According to the Organisation for Economic Cooperation and Development, the UK is leading the way in Europe on fiscal repair, normalizing borrowing levels faster than Germany, France, Italy, and Spain. In December, the OECD said that there is balance to be struck between maintaining stimulus for too long and removing it too quickly. Britain is testing the case for rapid withdrawal. For some, the move will revive memories of years of fiscal austerity after the 2008 financial crisis. The UK was also the first out of the blocks among major central banks on interest rates, with a 15 basis point increase in December. Bank of England mandate provides less room to tolerate inflation than the US Federal Reserve, the Central Bank of Europe, or the Bank of Japan. Yet the Bank of England now finds itself trapped, according to Adam Pawson, president of the Peterson Institute for International Economics. Brexit cut off some migrant labour flows, leaving Britain more exposed to global inflation shocks. In other words, shutting down your borders and not having immigration is significantly hurting the British economy, because by not having them flows, then monetary policy no longer can assume price shocks should be treated as one-off. Instead, that is a warning to the US, which is on the same path with regard to limiting immigration, at least. So this is a big thing. Immigration stimulates the economy. It is one of the big contributing factors to economic growth and sustainability. Is healthy immigration. Immigration provides jobs. It provides work. See, when someone comes to the country for a job, to fulfill a job, and they live here, right? They might move here for work. When they do that, that means that they need a house, which means that builders and stuff get jobs. It means that they need to buy clothes. It means that they need to buy food. It means that they need to, shop at your local stores, buy gas, pay taxes. There's all these things that come with immigration that never get talked about. And these things really are important for the economy, because that one family significantly creates more jobs across the country, and the money that they earn, they put back into the economy. And that's the reality, but people don't like that reality. They'd rather, in Britain, believe that immigrants steal their jobs and that's why they're poor. And that's just not the case. That's not the reality. That's not what studies show. April's tax rise, a 1.25% increase in national insurance earmarked for the National Health Service, will be met by employers as well as their staff. Unlike households, business is already being squeezed by commodity prices, supply chain problems, labour shortages, and Brexit related administrative burdens. The tax rise is definitely going to put pressure on us, said Rowan Crozier, chief executive of C. Brandier and Co., a specialist metal engineer in Birmingham, the UK's second largest city. First, it's going to mean our costs go up, and as staff are going to be paying more in tax, so we'll be taking home less. They're going to want a bigger pay rise. We'll be seeing increased costs, and we'll probably have to pass that on. Now, there's also a massive push in the UK for a living wage, which people think should be £15 an hour. That is what people think that should be the minimum wage in the UK is £15 an hour. That would be what many would say is a healthy, livable wage for those who are in the lowest jobs, because right now it isn't. Those in jobs where there is shift work, not many hours and stuff, they might only have like a 40 hour week. I mean, a lot of people have less than that, where they might only have a part-time job because they're balancing, raising children and trying to work and stuff as well. So when you take all those accounts in, that's where the accounting firm, like, minimum wage and what would be a livable wage comes in at, is what would be livable for, at the very bottom. What do you need to survive and thrive and live healthily? The risk is that the April crunch hurts the economy, which has been resilient so far, growing more than they expected in November. Persistent inflation is steadily pushing up the cost of household staples. Butter, eggs cost 7.2% more than a year ago. Yep, food prices are going up in the UK significantly. The Bank of England expects inflation to peak around 6% in April, though others forecast 7%. Chris Hare, UK economist at HSBC, believes consumer prices, even excluding energy, will continue to rise at least through April. Supply chain imbalances won't ease for a while yet, he said, which will also cause prices to be up. Dan Hansen, UK economist at Bloomberg Economics, expects inflation adjusted incomes to fall by 1.2% this year. That would be the biggest drop since 2011, setting up an increasingly fragile overlook for growth. Resolution is similar forecast, making 2022 the third real wage squeeze in a decade after the post financial crisis slump and Brexit. A rapid five series of upheavals unheard of in the past post war period. This is really, really bad. Basically, for the poorest average household in the UK, which honestly, that's 20 million people, I'd say. I'd say 20 million people. So, what, 8, 9 million households? Maybe closer to 12 if you count for people living alone. They say like maybe 12 million households in the UK are going to be pushed into a crunch where, I mean, for the bottom ones, this is a crisis. For the absolute bottom of the people in society in the UK who was struggling already, April could be, you know, the rock that breaks the camel's back, as they say. Even that understates the squeeze approaching. For a household with £150,000 mortgage, the Bank of England's rate rise in December and another quarter point hike expected in February will add another £600 a year to household costs. Rent are also increasing, rising 1.8% last year, the fastest annual pace since mid 2017. A raft of UK energy price went out of business after wholesale prices rose in late 2021. National Energy Action estimates that 6 million UK households will be living below the poverty line by April after making their fuel payments a 50% increase from 2021. Public awareness of the coming crunch is rising. Consumer confidence is falling with people less optimistic about their future. Personal finances or purchases. Without intervention, it will be the poorest households that suffer, as I said earlier. When I gave my 2 cents. The biggest overall hit to their incomes, according to the analysis by the Tony Blair Institute for Global Change. The richest 10% will take the next biggest hit, but the burden on them will be half as severe. But it won't be severe because it'll be fine. It's reality, right? They always say like stuff like that. Like, it won't be severe. Yes, it won't be severe because it's not gonna put them into the point where they can't eat, where they can't feed their children, where they can't pay for electric, right? So some members of Johnson Home Tribe have called for 12 billion April tax rise to be cancelled. The opposition party wants the VAT on energy bills cut, a move that would cost around £2.5 billion. Government suggests that would support poorer households, but most of the actual cash would go to wealthier Britons who spend more heating their homes. A rise in the minimum wage also due in April and a reduction in the rate at which benefits and withdrawal from workers are each worth about £1,000 a year. A few households will receive both. There is growing consensus that some of the worst impacts will need to be avoided. Paul Johnson, director of the Institute for Fiscal Studies, just a one-off uprating in benefit payments this year. Stephen Ball, UK economist at Goldman Sachs Group Incorporated, and a former Treasury advisor expects a 12-month VAT cut, an increase in the warm homes discount, a small loan relief scheme for energy providers. The UK's one advantage is time. The crunch hits in April, allowing a targeted fiscal response and putting the focus on the Chancellor of the Exchequer, Rishi Sunak. Yet Sunak is in a bind. He wants to keep both public borrowing and taxes in check and repair the balance sheet against a backdrop of global inflationary pressures, all while he's touted as a leading candidate to replace an unpopular Prime Minister. While Johnson survives or not, next few months will be closely watched by millions of Britons and by other nations weighing up their next move. Alright guys, thanks for watching the video. I will see you guys in the next one. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and take care.